Hello, my name is Ilona. Today is Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. And I'm going to look at three things in this video. First of all, I'm going to take a look at the energy in New Zealand. They have a new Prime Minister, Christopher Luxon, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a conservative, so there's a change happening there. And so there is now a new energy going there. I think we're seeing this all around the world. People are choosing more conservative parties that are there for the people more. Of course, it is in a way the same system, but we see that change happening, and that's saying a lot about the energy of humanity changing, stepping away from all these people concerned about climate and concerned about all these agendas. Of course, most of the puppets are from both sides, so we'll have to kind of wait and see, of course, what's going to happen now. But the feeling I'm getting, and especially when I look at the card reading, there is a change happening there as well. First card I've got is the Four of Wands. That's quite a positive card. For the central card, we have the Five of Wands. For the card in the past, we have the Moon card. The card underneath the central card, we've got the Hermit. And for the future, we have the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. To me, this is usually, Wands cards are Whitehead influences. So we're going to see more and more influences coming out. So I do believe that he's placed there on purpose, but there's going to be quite a hustle. So I think he's going to stir up some things, change some things. So, especially with the Five of Wands, there are probably other puppets that want to remain in control, and he probably has different objectives, so to speak, or different instructions what he's supposed to follow, especially with the Knight of Wands in this card reading. And we see that the people of New Zealand are gathering more together. I think there's more unity starting. Realizing what has happened the past few years, especially in New Zealand and in Australia. There were horrible restrictions. That was just awful what was happening there. So I think it united people more, and they are now more searching inside of themselves for answers and different points of view. That's what the Hermit is about, finding answers inside of yourself. So I do think in New Zealand people are changing very much their perspective, and I think this is a sign that there is a change of guard, so to speak, a different energy. Of course, people rightfully mentioned that, well, there are puppets on both sides. I don't think that he most likely will have some connection to the dark energies, but when I see the Knight of Wands, I think he's placed there purposefully to start things and to change things, and he will stir things up. So I do think it's going to be quite a hassle the coming time. I think he has things ahead of him to straighten out, and more things will be coming out. Of course, what happened the past few years with all these restrictions and things like that. So I do think he has his work cut out for him, Mr. Christopher Luxon. But it's interesting to see, and I believe that that's happening around the world, all these changes. The other thing, now I have to make sure I've got the right card, because the Hermit also came out in the second card reading. It was very interesting. I was reading this article and I'm just glancing over it, and I just saw something about a digital ID, and I saw Aus staan. So I thought it was Australia. It wasn't Australia, it was Austria, which is of course a completely, different country, completely somewhere different. And it had to do with an overhaul of a digital system. So in Austria, let's see, the article is from biometricupdate.com. Austrians prepare for full switch to new digital ID system in December 5th. So this is within a couple of weeks, so to speak, and that this is going to happen. Austrians are expected to take steps to sign up for the new national digital ID system ID Austria, as the government deadline for a full switch over from the old era elapses on December 5th. So I just wanted to take a look at that. What is the energy there? And the interesting first card I've got was the Chariot. That's usually a moving away from something card. This is the movement card. So this is interesting to see. We have the central card, the Queen of Swords. We've got the Hermit again in the past. We have the Queen of Pentacles underneath the Queen of Swords. And for the future cards, we have the Three of Wands and the Page of Wands. To me, again, Whitehead influences. Interesting enough to see that one. So I think, especially with this card, that it's kind of wait and see what's going to happen. It wouldn't surprise me that some things that they are talking about may not be the way it is, which means that it's possible there'll be another deadline or they won't be able to work it out in a couple of weeks to change that system. I have a feeling that they are ultimately moving away from this, but there needs to be discernment what you read and what you're sensing or what's going on. So this is interesting to see. I have a feeling that it's more of a wait and see. It wouldn't surprise me if it gets pushed to the side again, that it's just pushed forward. And it's really also to show people things are changing again. Maybe, let them become aware of this digital ID, which fits completely with all these ideas from Klaus and from the World Economic Forum, because they want us all digital, because they'll be able to fully control us. That's why we shouldn't, agree with this. We shouldn't comply with this. We shouldn't participate with this. So my feelings is that this is really about waking up people, and it's interesting to see how far the system will be on December 5th. If they are capable of applying it, if there's still some hiccups, things that won't work. It wouldn't surprise me if there's some kind of disastrous things going on there on that level. Or not disastrous, but I mean is that it won't work, or maybe they'll push the deadline further away. It's interesting to see, but especially with the Chariot, I think we are moving away from that system. But we'll have to kind of wait and see what exactly is going to happen December 5th. But like I said, I have the feeling we'll just have to really, this card is really about wait and see. What is really going to happen? And use your discernment with what people are, writing down and what's coming out from the government. So that's for the Austria card reading. The last card reading I want to take a look at has to do with Rainer Fuellmich. He was, of course, he's a lawyer, and he's very concerned about what happened the past 4 years almost. And he's been creating lawsuits against what's been going on with, of course, what's been passed around. But they have been accusing him for taking money away from certain organizations, and now they've actually taken him in. And there are a few news outlets that he was most likely taken in from Frankfurt. There's also news that apparently he was taken from the German embassy in Mexico on passport errand, flown to Frankfurt, and he was then taken into custody. So I just wanted to take a look at what the energy is with Rainer Fuellmich, what's going on, who is behind this. His lawyers were already talking about this is just to silence him, to keep him quiet. And he has been very vocal about what's been going on the past 4 years, almost 4 years. Well, let's face it, we're almost in 2024, and then it's been 4 years ago. Just imagine this, how fast time is just passing by. So the card I did notice at the back of the deck was the High Priest. So there obviously is some darker energy involved with this. I think they wanted to silence him. They wanted to keep him quiet. They wanted to kind of, I guess in a way, make sure that he doesn't open his mouth or just get their hands on him. And interesting enough, I'll have to switch 2 cards here. This is the first card I've got. This is the Four of Cups. The central card is the Moon. And of course you cannot see clearly in the moonlight, and that's purposely done to confuse people. A card in the past is the Five of Cups. Underneath the Moon we have the Nine of Pentacles. We've got the Wheel of Fortune in the future and the Knight of Wands again. So very interesting that in the card readings of this video, we see these wand cards popping up, the page twice, the Knight of Wands. So to me, there is Whitehead influences going on, but this is a karmic situation as well. This is also connected to his energy, to Reiner's energy. So there's something as well. He is here to play out a certain role. So I can't immediately say that he will completely be released, or how to say that this is all going to work out perfectly. This is necessary to show things, to show people what is really going on. It will lead the own life. So this entire case will start to go independently. And it's more of, in the Netherlands we would say het gaat zijn eigen gang. And that means it's going their own way, which means it's getting out of control, out of hand. So even for the dark energies, this will create a different path, most likely than what they wanted. Most likely because of the influence from the Whiteheads as well, to show people. So this is going to get out of their hands. They won't be able to control this. It will have an independent path. But there's a lot of confusion purposely done. You know, what he has done. He has done all these things, and they will come up with all kinds of things just to keep him quiet. This is really about shutting him up. This is about just keeping him quiet, not speaking his voice, not saying what he wants to say. And this has the dark energy still, in a way, some control to do this. It wouldn't surprise me at all that they've gotten him from Mexico. I'm not really sure. One article is talking about Mexico, and another article is talking, of course, that he was taken from Frankfurt, and doesn't mention anything that he was actually sent there from Mexico. So probably more information is going to come out. But this ultimately is a karmic situation. It needs to take its course. There is Whitehead influences. Doesn't mean that he is going to get out scotch-free. Really, it is about showing people. It has to do with his energy as well. So this is a very interesting case, but it's pretty clear why they've taken care of him in this way. That he was getting too close to certain things and speaking his mind. So this is an interesting card reading. But like I said, the wheel is turning, things are moving in a certain direction, Whitehead influences, so we're going to hear more and more about this, and I think it's going to clear up certain things, and also what's going on with governments and how they handle people that are critical of what they've done for the past 4 years. So I think more and more is going to be presented about that as well, and how many journalists, especially independent journalists, really have been silenced in any way possible. Also lawyers. Reiner is of course a lawyer. Journalists, lawyers. We have all these people trying to speak out. Doctors, they are being silenced, and I think this is a case where it's going to show that how this has been going on, how they've been manipulating the narrative. So this is interesting to see. And this is an interesting card reading. So this is what I've got for today, and hope to see you in another video. Bye.